Hello creatives, I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and today I'm talking about comparisonitis, or comparing ourselves to others, which is something I suffer from regularly, and so I wanted to talk about it on here because I think it's something that many writers suffer from and it can make us feel a bit crap, basically. So let's talk about when it happens the most. For me, it's very much when I go to writing conferences. When I go to amazing conferences like Thriller Fest, there's part of me that feels like, yes, I'm so inspired. I want to be like those writers who've got movie deals and have been writing for 30, 40 years. That's what I want. And in one way, that comparing myself to them makes me feel empowered and gives me something to aim for. And that's brilliant. And then there's the negative side of, oh, well, why can't I be like that? Why can't I write a book that's as good as that? Why can't I make as much money as that person? Why aren't I winning awards? All of those things, it's that critical voice inside us that compares ourselves to other people. And I definitely get it at writers' conferences. I think the proliferation of social media also, we can end up feeling like we're comparing ourselves to a curated Instagram stream or somebody posting things on Facebook. All of those things we can look at and compare ourselves to. So how do we deal with these feelings? Well, first of all, it really is, I think, acknowledging them is fantastic. And I kind of go into a super praise drive if I start feeling that way. If there's an author that I meet or that I see online that I think, oh, they're amazing, then I try and frame that as how can it inspire me to be better? So instead of feeling resentful or angry or jealous, I try and reframe it in a way that I can learn from them. So for example, if they have won an award, what is it about their book that makes it good enough to win an award? Or if they're making more money than me, what are they doing? What practices have they put in place to actually achieve those goals? And how can I emulate that? Or do I want to? Do I want to emulate the way that they're doing things? And how can I bring in the positive aspects into my own life? The second thing is to remember that we should be comparing ourselves to ourselves at a different point in time. So I often talk about Olympic years, and Olympic years are like every 4 years. So I tend to use the Summer Olympics. So if I think about, 2008, in the 2008 Olympics, I had one book published, I had no website, I didn't have the Creative Penn, I had no podcast, I had no Twitter account, I had no email list, I had never written fiction. With all of those things in 2008, I just didn't have them. So then fast forward to 2012, the London Olympics, I was actually living in London, whereas in 2008 I was in Australia. I had left my job, I was actually a full-time author entrepreneur, I had written my first novels, all those different things. And then 2016 again, I was making 6 figures. My husband had left his job. We were living in another city, and I'd written like over 20 books. So when you look at yourself over time, if I compare myself now to the Joanna Penn from 2008, from 10 years ago, I have come a very long way. And if I was looking at me from back then, I would possibly be comparing myself to that person. So this is why I love blogging, because I think if you blog, if you put things out into the world as you go, and I've been blogging and my early YouTube videos are hilarious from when I was first learning some of this stuff. If you put it out into the world as you go, you can look at your journey and really understand how far you've come. But then also a bit of a challenge, because if you're looking back 4 years or 5 years or 10 years and you haven't moved on with your goals, then you've got to ask, do you really care about them? Do you really want to write this book? Do you really want to make it as an author? So I think that the using comparisonitis to inspire ourselves and to compare ourselves to an earlier version of ourselves, and then to look forward and say, okay, well, where do I want to be in the next 4 years, in the next 5, 10 years? What do I want to achieve? And how can I put things in place so that I can make it that far? So I hope you found that useful today, and I talk more about comparisonitis and other issues on the author's journey in the Successful Author Mindset, available in ebook, print, audiobook and workbook editions. So I hope you found that useful, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'll be back soon with another video, and please leave a comment or a question or a suggestion for other videos that I might cover in the future. So happy writing, and I'll see you next time.